It all began years ago, under the soft glow of moonlight, not just on screen, but in a bond that would quietly stand the test of time. Park Bo-gum and Kim Yoo Jung, two names that once graced our hearts as the beloved crown prince and his brave love in the moonlight, became symbols of purity, sincerity, and emotion. But behind the cameras, away from the costumes and scripts, there was something even deeper, a promise whispered, and a connection that never faded. When Love in the Moonlight ended, fans couldn't move on. The chemistry between Bo-gum and Yoo Jung wasn't just acting, it was real, almost too natural. The way he looked at her, the way she smiled back, every scene carried a quiet truth their fans could feel. But as the lights dimmed and the cast went their separate ways, what no one knew was that Bo-gum had made a promise, one that he intended to keep no matter how much time passed. In 2020, before Park Bo-gum enlisted for his military service, he met with Kim Yoo Jung privately, away from the press and public eyes. A close insider revealed that it was a quiet, emotional meeting. Bo-gum, known for his deep sincerity, told her something simple yet powerful. Let's meet again when the time is right, when we've both grown into who we're meant to be. That line, that promise, became the quiet heartbeat behind years of silence. While Bo-gum served, Yoo Jung continued her career, taking on mature roles that showed just how much she had grown. But in interviews, whenever his name came up, her eyes softened. She once said, Bo-gum Appa taught me that kindness doesn't fade, even in a world that changes too fast. Meanwhile, Bo-gum often mentioned her too. In a rare 2023 interview after his discharge, when asked about his most memorable co-star, he smiled and said, there's someone who showed me that innocence is strength. That's something I'll always carry with me. Fans immediately knew who he was referring to. And then came the reunion that no one saw coming. In early 2025, during a brand campaign shoot in Seoul, Kim Yoo Jung was chosen as the face of a global fashion brand, and surprisingly, Southwest was Park Bo-gum. It wasn't planned, it wasn't expected, but destiny clearly had other ideas. When the two arrived at the shoot, the production team said the atmosphere instantly changed. They hadn't seen each other for years, but the moment their eyes met, it was as if time folded back on itself. The crew described it as quiet magic. For a brief moment, Bo-gum smiled, that same warm, genuine smile that had once melted millions, and Yoo Jung laughed shyly, just like she used to. Their chemistry was still there, effortless and pure. The photographer captured every moment, and one behind-the-scenes clip later went viral. The way Bo-gum helped fix Yoo Jung's outfit mid-shoot, the way she thanked him softly, and how their hands brushed as they walked off set. Fans couldn't help but say, they're still the same, maybe even closer. But that wasn't the end of it. A few weeks later, an old friend of Bo-gum's revealed that during his military service, Bo-gum often wrote letters, not emails, not messages, real letters. One of those letters, the source claimed, was to Kim Yoo Jung. He never spoke publicly about it, but that letter was said to contain the same words he once promised her, when the time is right, let's meet again. It was a promise of faith, not in romance, but in destiny. And perhaps destiny heard him, because shortly after that campaign, news broke that both were in talks to star in a new drama, a romantic melodrama titled When the Stars Remember. The show's theme? Two souls who meet as teenagers, get separated by life circumstances, and find each other again years later, stronger, wiser, and ready for the love they once couldn't have. Fans were convinced this wasn't coincidence. It was fate coming full circle. During a promotional event, Yoo Jung was asked about working with Bo-gum again. She smiled gently and said, some connections feel like home. When you see that person again, it's like nothing changed, only time passed. Bo-gum, sitting beside her, looked at her and replied softly, some promises don't need to be spoken again. You just keep them in your heart until the moment arrives. That moment was enough to send fans into an emotional frenzy. Social media exploded with clips of their interaction, captions like the promise was real, and Bo-gum waited for her. Behind the camera, their friendship seemed deeper now, grounded in mutual respect, patience, and the understanding that not every bond needs a label to be eternal. Staff members revealed that Bo-gum often stayed behind after filming just to make sure Yoo Jung was comfortable, offering her coffee or helping review scripts. And Yoo Jung, in return, often praised his dedication, saying he hasn't changed at all, still kind, still genuine. But what truly melted hearts was what happened after the drama's final shoot. According to the crew, after they wrapped the last scene, Bo Gum quietly handed Yoo Jung a small letter, sealed and handwritten. He didn't say what was inside, but she looked at him for a moment before smiling, her eyes shining with emotion. She didn't open it right away. Instead, she said, "I'll read it when the time is right." Days later, Bo Gum was interviewed about the project and asked what made it so meaningful. He said something that resonated deeply. Sometimes, it's not about starting something new, it's about keeping something alive that never ended. That line sent fans into tears, because it wasn't just about the drama, it was about them. Even now, fans continue to speculate what was in that letter, what promise still lingers between them. Was it love, friendship, or something more, something that doesn't need to be defined, because it simply is? Whatever the truth may be, one thing is certain: Park Bo Gum and Kim Yoo Jung's bond is the kind that time, distance, and fame can't erase. It's a reminder that some promises don't fade, they echo softly through years, waiting for their moment to be fulfilled. And maybe that's what their story really is, not about waiting for love, but about growing with it. Quietly, faithfully, forever. Because sometimes the whispers of forever aren't shouted for the world to hear. They're spoken softly, between two hearts that never forgot how to listen. It started quietly, just like most things between Park Bo Gum and Kim Yoo Jung always do. No dramatic announcements, no flashy headlines, just subtle gestures and a wave of emotion that fans could feel but couldn't quite explain. After months of silence, Bo Gum's words during his recent fan meeting sent a ripple through the entire fandom. When he looked out into the crowd and said, "Some bonds don't fade," even when the camera stopped rolling, fans couldn't help but wonder if he was talking about her, Kim Yoo Jung. Because for years, their connection has always felt deeper than what the public could see. From the way Bo Gum would glance at her during interviews to Yoo Jung's quiet smile whenever his name came up, there was always an unspoken understanding between them, one that went beyond mere friendship. Behind the polished smiles and the bright lights, there was a quiet promise, one that might have started long before either of them realized it. After Love in the Moonlight, both Bo Gum and Yoo Jung went their separate ways to grow as individuals. But time and again, fate found a way to bring their paths close enough to stir curiosity. During Bo Gum's recent fan meet in Tokyo, he mentioned someone who helped him stay grounded even in the loneliest moments of his career. And though he didn't name names, fans who had followed his journey knew exactly who came to mind: Kim Yoo Jung. Yoo Jung, on her part, has also been quietly supportive. She recently attended an event wearing a bracelet identical to the one Bo Gum was seen wearing last year. It was a small detail, but one that fans couldn't ignore. For those who've been following their story since 2016, it felt like a silent message, a reminder that their story wasn't over. Insiders close to the two have also spoken about their continued communication. According to one report, even while Bo Gum was abroad for projects, he never failed to reach out to check on her well-being. He once mentioned in an interview that caring for someone from afar doesn't make the feeling any less real. Those words struck deeply, especially because Yoo Jung had once described him as the kind of person you don't forget. The industry has always had its way of testing relationships, especially those rooted in genuine care. With their growing fame and packed schedules, the odds of maintaining a deep personal bond seem impossible. Yet, these two have managed to stay quietly connected through it all. Whether it's through small interactions, private gatherings, or silent support during each other's hardest moments, there's always something there, something real. Recently, fans noticed that Bo Gum liked a fan post featuring a clip from Love in the Moonlight, the very scene where their characters made an unspoken promise under the stars. The caption read, "Some promises don't need words." That moment reignited hope among their supporters. Was it just nostalgia, or was Bo Gum sending a message that the promise from that scene somehow extended into real life? Meanwhile, Kim Yoo Jung has been glowing differently. During a recent interview, when asked about Bo Gum, she smiled softly and said, "He's someone who always reminds me of peace." That statement left fans wondering if peace was her way of describing love, the kind that isn't loud or performative but deeply grounding. Some insiders believe the two have agreed to keep things away from the public eye for now, especially as both are entering major new chapters in their careers. For Bo Gum, his comeback project is one of his most anticipated yet, while Yoo Jung continues to impress audiences with her versatile performances. But no matter how far their paths drift apart professionally, the emotional thread between them remains strong. One staff member from a previous shoot even revealed that Bo Gum still keeps a photo from the Love in the Moonlight set in his phone gallery. When asked about it, he simply said, "That project taught me what sincerity looks like." For fans, that was enough to bring back a wave of emotions. They've always known that sincerity, for Bo Gum, was tied to Yoo Jung. The entertainment world can be harsh, and not all relationships survive the spotlight. But Bo Gum and Yoo Jung's connection feels like it was built on something purer: mutual respect, shared growth, and quiet affection. Maybe it isn't about public confessions or grand gestures. Maybe it's about the little promises they've kept along the way, the ones the world doesn't get to see. As fans continue to piece together these quiet moments, one thing becomes clear: some stories don't end when the cameras stop rolling. Some simply pause, waiting for the right time to begin again. And for Park Bo Gum and Kim Yoo Jung, that time might just be closer than anyone realizes. Because every glance, every word, every subtle gesture still whispers one thing: forever might not be loud, but it's real. The promise they made years ago seems to still linger in their hearts. And maybe, just maybe, this is only the beginning of a love story that was always meant to find its way back, no matter how much time has passed.